Hi and welcome to Evolve Tech. This is Victor Perez and today we are going to be answering the question, what earphones should you get? Today we are going to be comparing three of the most sold earphones in market right now: the Mi True Wireless 2, the Airpods 2 and the Airpods Pro. Remember, if you like this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe below so you can get all the updates on my new videos. You can also help this channel to grow. And remember also to ping the notification bell so you can receive the latest updates on my videos. If you like any of the products in the video, I will leave a link in the description so you can find them right there. So first of all, we are going to be talking about the Xiaomi headphones. I have been using them for the last year. They have been my daily driver. I actually have a Xiaomi phone, so the pairing is instantaneous. They weigh 4.5 grams per headset, 50 grams in total, and the size it's a little bit bigger than the competitors. Actually, they're a bit bulkier, but I personally use tight jeans and it hasn't been a problem to carry them with me. Actually, the form is a little bit square than the competitors, maybe a way to differentiate, but actually when using them, it's good when you want to put them on the table because they won't wobble, they won't go off the table. But actually when wearing them, maybe it's a bit harder to put them in your pockets, so that's something to take into account. They work like a charm, and actually sound-wise I have nothing to complain about because they sound quite well. The only problem for me was the sound insulation, as they feature no sound insulation and not even passive sound insulation in the ear. You just get in and that's it. So that's something to take into account too. So what about the battery? I have to say it's not the best. They last around 4 hours hearing music, and with the case you can get up to 16 hours of battery life out of them. They charge in up to 40 minutes, and to charge the case you will need an hour and a half. So what about the microphones? Well, I have to say, using them I do not love them, because I actually many times I could hear the person well, but they had some trouble understanding me. So I have to say, maybe the distance between the earphone and the mouth is too much for them. Maybe it's also because of the poor quality of the microphones, but I have to say, if you're a person that is thinking about getting some earphones to make like business calls and so on, I do not recommend them. Maybe between a familiar it's not such a problem because they know you, but if you're going to be making important calls, maybe these are not for you. These are maybe more for a music hearing type of person or like a sports person, because there the microphones are not involved. So what about the sound? I have to say that as a person who hears dance music, who hears commercial music, I have to say I really love the sound of these earphones. They resemble a lot my AirPods cabled earphones, not the wireless ones, which I loved actually. So I have to say that the mids and the highs are pretty clear and the bass is present, something I can't say about the AirPods. The only thing that didn't convince me was that the bass, while it's there, it's not very clear, so maybe sometimes it gets a little muddy. But other than that, I have to say I really love the sound of these earphones and I can completely recommend them for that. The only gesture I commonly use is a double tap that stops the music, and if you double tap again, it will start again. If you take the earphones off, the music will stop. If you put them on, it will start again. That's what there is to it. So let's go on with the second contender. The second contender, everyone knows it, it's the AirPods 2. These are the most sold earbuds in the world right now. So yeah, that's something to them. How do they sound? Actually, for me, coming from a Mi True Wireless 2, I didn't love it because actually for my taste it lacks a little bit of bass. So for the kind of music I used to hear, I didn't love it, because while the mids and the highs were extremely clear, so I have to give kudos to Apple for that. It was lacking the bass, which I love. So yeah, I think maybe the sound wasn't for me. So how's the battery life? They last up to 5 hours, 4.5 hours actually, but in our test they lasted up to 5, and up to 24 hours with the case and a single charge. I have to say that from all the three competitors in this review, this is the smallest case, so that's something to take into account if you don't have many space, if you don't like traveling bulky boxes with you, yeah, that's something to take into account. Also, the box is pill shaped, so it's very easy to put into the pockets to get out of them. But the only thing is that when you are putting them on a table, there's no way to make it stand up, so they will just have to lay down on the table. One another thing is that the coating, it's very slippery, the coating on the case, so putting them into pockets, it's much easier than the Xiaomi ones, because actually that one is like a matte coating, so it does a little bit more friction with the clothing. So about the microphones, these are much better than the Metro wireless microphones. The voice comes clear, so if you make a lot of calls, these are maybe for you. The voice also comes out very clear. As I said, the mids and highs are crystal clear, so for the voice that's optimum. And if you listen to music that's like classical, that has like many instruments, this will suit you better than the Metro wireless too. As for gestures, there's 4 gestures. You can program them all using the iPhone, and they are configurable from stopping to going to next track to calling Siri. You can do whatever you like. Okay, so now let's go with our third contender, the AirPods Pro. They actually feature a silicone stem which gives some passive noise insulation. They actually also have active noise insulation, so they are ideal for working in noisy environments, so you can just get rid of the chit chat around you. And their weight and dimensions are actually 5.4 grams for each earbud and 45 grams for the charging case. And they are actually waterproof via IPX4 certification. The first thing you notice when you put the AirPods Pro on is that they are light. They are actually so light that many times you can forget that you have put them on. The case is a little chunkier than the case of the AirPods, but that's not a problem. Just comparing with the Xiaomi case, it's much easier to get it into your pockets. And as you can see, the stems are much shorter than the ones on the regular AirPods. That is because the gesture control has changed, and talking about gestures, they abandoned the tap gestures for pressure control. So actually now they have a pressure sensor on the stems, and that is much appreciated, for example for me, because right now I'm working with tap gestures, and the problem is that when you have the earphones on your ear, tapping it's a little bit annoying because you can hear the noise. Every time you're tapping, you will hear a tap right on your ear, so that's not ideal. So that's something Apple thought, and they actually changed the methodology for interacting with the earphones, and that's something I really appreciate, and it comes natural. At some point you just do it without thinking. And for battery, the claimed battery life is 4.5 hours, and actually we managed to arrive to 5 hours using them, and with the case you can arrive to up to 24 hours on a single charge. And as for sound, I have to say they really do sound awesome. They resolve most of the problems the regular AirPods had, thanks to their sound insulation, especially because of the problems that the lack of insulation gives for bass. So they pack a punch in bass, and actually the mids are even richer than in the regular AirPods. The only problem I saw here was the differentiation between mids and lows and highs. It gets a little muddy too fast if there's many different sounds involved, but overall I have to say that that's definitely a good step upwards in quality for Apple with these earphones. As for price, the new generation of AirPods Pro will cost you $199. Actually, when they were launched, it costed $249, but you can find it for 189 euros right now. And as for the microphone, if the AirPods were good for making calls, these ones are even better, especially because the noise insulation you get, so you can hear the voice calls much better. The only problem is that they don't include any kind of response on how your voice is sounding, so many times you are so insulated from the outside that you can end by screaming. So maybe it would be nice to have something to get a feedback on how loud you are talking. So what do I think about them? Which one do I recommend? I think they are geared towards different publics right now, because the Metro Wireless for me it would be perfect for a person obviously with a Xiaomi phone, with an Android phone, because many times when you pair the AirPods or AirPods Pro 2 with an Android phone, you're losing many of the things that make them different and make them better than the competition. So at that point you're just relying into a normal Bluetooth headset. You're losing many of the gestures or of the active noise insulation that makes the AirPods Pro better than the rest. Actually, the regular AirPods is the one that's more difficult for me. Maybe if you're an Apple user on a budget, that's a little weird, but maybe there's someone. Maybe in that case you could use the regular AirPods, because actually while the sound is not very good, they're good for making calls. So if you're an Apple user who makes a lot of calls or listens to, I don't know, classical music, or maybe music that doesn't use the bass so much, in that case, yeah, I could recommend the AirPods for you. Or maybe if you're someone that needs a not bulky enclosure to bring with you, then the AirPods is perfect, because it was the smallest one of the three we compared. The AirPods Pro, yeah, actually they were the better sounding. If you're a person who really likes quality in the music, if you're a person who travels or who works in noise environments, and then you need that active noise insulation, or if you just want the best of the best, in that case you should go for the AirPods Pro. And also the last group, if you are a person who does a lot of sports, the AirPods Pro offer sweat resistance, so that's something important to bear in mind. And actually being so light and being in ear, it's very hard to lose them, so that makes them perfect for doing sports. Actually, I had a situation where I was in the plane with my Mitra Wireless 2 and I couldn't hear the music because there was virtually no sound insulation from outside. And the plane, you know, the planes are so loud, so it was impossible for me to use them. I could just use them at the maximum volume, which is not optimum. So maybe if you're also a person who wants to take care of their ears, to put, I don't know, like lower volumes and so on, this is allowed by the AirPods Pro, because they have passive and active noise insulation from outside, so the volume you have to use on the earphone is much lower than the one you would use without them. One thing that I want to point out is that while using the Xiaomi, I have found some occasions in which one earphone would just disconnect and it wouldn't want to connect again to the phone. So if you're looking for a product that's reliable, then for me, you should go the Apple route. If you're a person who doesn't care about tinkering with things, you just have to reset it like once a week and it will resolve. But yeah, for example, we in a year haven't found any problem with the AirPods. So that was it. I hope you liked this video. If you liked this video, remember to leave a like, leave a subscribe below and ping the notification bell icon so you can receive new updates on my videos. If you have any questions, just ask them in the comments below. I will try to answer to all of you. And yeah, see you next time.